Hello, class. In this segment of drawing elevations, we're going to look at the roof. We're both going to do this angle and this roof back here, which will be a little bit of trick. And really, the hardest part is sort of getting the geometries work to make sure that your overhang works and all this stuff here works. And so you pay attention to the details, but it is important. One thing I want to point out is we already started to draw the elevation. We have this edge of the wall, which is this edge of the wall, and we drew up to this point right there, which is the bottom part of the roof, not the top part of the roof. And that's going to be key as we work through the steps of doing this, because we can also see that the pitch is 912. Which is also important. So I'm going to start from that point. I'm going to do the same thing I did when I started the roof of this porch. I'm going to start by doing a 9 and a 12. So I'm going to go over 12 inches, 12, enter. I'm going to go up 9, straight up 9, and then I'm going to form the triangle. Close and enter. So this is the slope. I no longer need these two lines, so I'm going to hit erase and just get rid of these guys and hit enter. And I'm going to move this line right over here so that it touches where the edge of that wall and that line I defined from earlier hits. And actually this line is really no longer needed, and in theory I should be able to erase it. So why don't I go ahead and erase it? It's possible could be wrong about that, but we'll see. We'll start to erase it, and you can start to see the slope is going to come up. Now I could mirror it. I'm going to mirror it eventually and fill it all together, but first might as well figure out how far it comes out. Well, we know the roof overhangs. I'm going to at 1'4" because it's on the drawing in many places. It actually doesn't say this one, but we'll assume it's the same. So I'm going to offset just for a guideline 1'4", enter. Select this wall and pull out, and I'm going to extend this line down to here, right? So I'm going to extend down to here, and that's just a guideline, so I can erase it. Don't need it anymore. And what we also know is this roof is going to be, it has a vertical, this vertical line here is going to be 8 inches. That's what we're using for this. I'm going to draw 8 inches. That's going to define the top of the roof, right? It's not the easy one to offset, but we don't have that because it's not defined by that. It's defined by the fact that we define that edge that way. So, so what I'm going to do to get that top part of the roof is I'm just going to copy this line, enter, from this point from the bottom of the line to the top of the line, just like that. And then the last part of the line we need is just the bottom area here, so I'll draw that straight across that way, and we've got the edge of that roof. Now the edge of this roof is the same as this roof, so I'm just going to mirror across the center point to do that. So actually I might draw a guideline. I might have the right point down in this lower area, but I'm not 100% positive, so when I just draw a quick guideline across to get a midpoint to do a nice mirror at that way, I'm going to go to mirror here. I'm going to use left to right selection to select just this area of the roof, hit enter, find the midpoint and pull up to mirror that across, and then I'm just going to erase this guideline I no longer need. And now I'm going to fillet the roof together. I'm going to fill it. I'm going to select this upper edge here and here. I'm going to hit enter, and you can see it's a little off the screen, but I'll zoom out here in a second. I'll fill at this bottom edge here to here, and I've got that roof. Now I want the edges again to be this cyan or blue color, so I'm going to match properties and hit the cyan line there, and hit these 3 lines here, here, and here, and the same 3 lines on here, here, and here. That inner edge of the roof I'm going to keep as green because that's internal from the edge. And there's still other trim work and stuff I have to do on this house that I'll get to in a later video, but fundamentally that's the beginning of this roof. Not too bad. Now the trick for the rest of the roof is we have to draw this roof. Now there's no dimension here. It's lower than the edge of that roof, so how tall is it? Well, you have to figure it out. How might you figure it out? Stop and think. Can you figure it out? Well, there's only one way of doing it, and that is that you first have to draw this other east elevation. In fact, we have to draw, I'm going to draw just the segment of this east elevation. We'll get into most of it later, but I'm just going to have to draw enough of this east elevation to do the exact same steps I did here to be able to get to fillet these together, get the triangle, to be able to then draw across. So you'll see this. I'll do it step by step. So you'll see I'm going to come across here, and I'm going to go over to this zone where I'm going to draw my east elevation, which is going to be over here, and I had set up in an earlier video these plans to be able to draw down. And I'm going to just start by drawing down just that piece. of it, which is just this width. It's the roof that covers this segment of the house. So I'm going to draw straight down here, and I'm going to draw straight down over here and hit enter. And I know the edges of the roof are pretty much the same, so and the slope is the same also. So I've got a lot of information over here. I don't have to redraw it. I'm just going to copy it. So I'm going to go to copy, and I'm going to use a right to left selection set, so I get this line, this line, this line, and this line selected, and hit enter. And I'm going to select the endpoint of right here at that intersection. You can also use intersection snap if you've got that turned on. And I'm going to draw it straight over. Make sure I got the green line showing I'm drawing it straight over, and I'm going to go perpendicular right to that line. So that's going to actually set the edge of what I'm drawing here is this right there. All right, or at least I'm starting it. I'm not going to complete it in this video. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did sort of previously to get the other roof. I'm going to draw a line between the two verticals that I did, and it's a little low, but that's just to get a midpoint about which I can mirror. So I'm going to go to mirror command, select those two lines, select the little lines over here, hit enter, select the midpoint snap, and pull up to mirror the roof this way. And now these two lines, of course it's a lower roof, I started from the bigger roof, so they extend past each other. I still can fillet this together though, so I'm going to go just like I did before. I'm going to go to fillet. I'm going to select this line, fillet the two blue ones together, or the two cyan ones together, and then fillet the two green ones together. And I could trim this up. I'll worry about trimming this all up later and getting the height right and all that stuff. But I've got enough drawn to draw this roof. So the great thing about setting up your elevations this way, all I need to do to get the height of that roof, I just have to take a line, click on the top of this roof right here, and draw it straight over. And I'm going to draw over. I have my intersection snap on, so I get the little X for intersection snap, and I get it drawn on right there. That's the height of that roof. Again, if I were to sort of pull up the drawing that we're drawing, what I drew is this line right here. Right, so now we got a 1'4" offset. We have 8 inches there, so I'll just quickly draw all of that together. So I'm going to offset 1'4", enter. And I already have the edges of the roof marked out from this plan, so I can draw a line straight across here, and I can draw another line straight across here, and I'm going to fillet. Sorry, I hit offset by accident. I'm going to hit the real fillet button this time. Fillet that edge to there. I'm going to trim this line here, so I'm going to hit trim and hit enter. And just take that bit away, because this is the edge of the wall only comes to here. And then these two lines I'm going to fillet together. So I'm going to hit fillet. I'm going to draw this line to here and this line to here. Now since this face of the wall is set back further than this face, for now I'm going to leave it as color 3. I might make changes as I go along, but this is a good place to be. And actually, I might as well finish this line, because this line actually is underneath this roof, so I can just trim this right down. So I'm going to go to trim, and I'm going to do a trimming line just to make it a little quicker. So I'm going to hit that line, hit enter, and then click this line and actually hit enter. And I'm going to do one more trim, just a little bit of cleanup work. I'm going to hit trim, hit enter, and then click that to go over there to hit the edge of the roof line. So that's the basics outlines of this house are now done, with the primary video of this looking at the roof. I'm still going to do another video on windows and the rest of the things. Windows, there is a trick to them that you want to make sure you watch. It's not that difficult, but you want to make sure you watch just to get the geometries just right on a technical basis. And then I'll just review in another video things like hatches and other things. We already reviewed hatches, but just the numbers and everything you need to know to make sure you've drawn it right, and then we'll get this set up for this one to be print before going on to the next elevation. So that's what we're looking forward to. Keep going, good work. I'll see you in the next video.